I can't lie though, I gotta keep it all the way a buck with you. Keep it 100. Hey, what's good? Thanks for hopping in the car with Christian Addiction Recovery, a channel where like-minded individuals that face similar struggles can come to learn and discuss new ways to live our best life possible and overall become the best versions of ourselves. Today, I just wanted to keep it real with you guys. I've had a rough week, all right? I wanted to talk about how I have been challenged this week to use a lot of my tools and practices that I talk about to get myself back in line and get myself back into the right kind of attitude. And I'm going to do a show like this from time to time because we all need to know that we are not alone in our struggles. And for some reason, just knowing that other people are having a hard time also makes you feel a little better. I don't know why that is. It's not that you want other people to be having a hard time. It just makes you feel like if they can do it, well, I guess I can tough it out as well. I had started this week strong. My first day of the week, I woke up in the morning and I wrote probably 30 pages on gratitude. I write kind of big, so each page probably has 150 words. But I got up and wrote, and I just was in such a great place. And then I went to my girlfriend's house and we discovered that she did not get her tax return. Now, we shouldn't have done this, but we have been anticipating that tax return coming because we'd like to get some things taken care of in her life, get her a new bed for one. But when we got the news, it hit like a ton of bricks. And so that anxiety that always tries to worry me started coming back. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate that when you're frustrated and you're around another person that's frustrated, that frustration is exponentially greater, right? Because you're feeding off of each other and everything like that. Well, we noticed that we had gotten ourselves all worked up and just making all kinds of worries for nothing, probably because most likely the tax return is still on its way. It just got delayed. Long story short, we had to stop and we had to tell each other, it's going to be okay. God is going to provide. It's really important to have someone in your life that you can rely on that's going to lift you up. Someone that knows the same truths that you do and someone that knows God. It says do not be unequally yoked in the Bible, and there's a reason for that because the truth that we know is different from their reality. And it's for that very reason. It's so that when you are in a situation and you are frustrated, that person can tell you, hey, it's going to be okay, because there's going to be tomorrow when that person's frustrated and you're going to have to tell them it's okay. Because here's the thing, you're going to get frustrated. No matter how much you practice gratitude, no matter how much you practice intentionality, there's always going to be something, because we are human. We are not Jesus. We do these practices so that we can be as Christ-like as possible. But we are not Christ, so we are going to get frustrated from time to time. That's why I'm doing this video, because I want you to know this guy that says he is happier than anybody and more content than anybody had a rough week. I started off the week journaling strong about gratitude, and the very first thing I get hit with is all of these feelings of worry, and that's not gratitude. The next day I woke up and I did my gratitude journal again. Well, shortly after, I got a phone call from Dad, and he said that there is still some legal matters back in Texas that I needed to take care of. When I called them, it was a situation where I found out that I still owed some money on a ticket. It was really easy to start framing that as frustration again and seeing things that I can't believe that I still have to do this, and start looking at it that way. But I had to stop myself, because when I went to court for that ticket, they were trying to enhance it to a much more serious crime, and they were trying to give me 10 years in prison. And that is why I fought that ticket, and it cost me somewhere around $75,000 to do all of the court on the civil side and on the criminal side. But the truth prevailed, and I was found not guilty of the greater charge. However, the guy still did give me 30 days in jail. However, COVID had just happened, and so they were not taking anybody into the jail. And so I had finally got my case taken care of, and so I got out of Texas. When they try to give you 10 years for a traffic ticket, you need to leave the state. But the way I reframed that was, instead of thinking about the 30 days in jail that I was going to have to do and being stressed out about it interfering with my plans, I reframed it, and I just became so grateful that God delivered me from that 10 years. It was like Daniel in the lion's den, and I was facing those lions. But God showed up, and he pulled me out, and he saved me. And much like Daniel, not only did he save me, but he's lifted me up to my true purpose, which some of my purpose is to make these videos. And if this video can just help one of you, maybe you're the person this video is for, so that you can know that I also am dealing with all of the things of life. I don't have it all butterflies and rainbows, as I like to say. And I reframed it to say, hey, when I go do these 30 days, well, for one, it's county time and I'll be a trustee. So I'll actually get 3 days credit for every day that I do. So I reframed it to say, hey, instead of 30 days in jail, you're only gonna do 10 days. And then I reframed it even more and said, hey, instead of doing 10 years in jail, you're only gonna do 10 days. That reframing really brought me to a place of gratitude. So then my brain started releasing all that serotonin and that dopamine. I was talking about that in the other video, and I'll leave a link below. Check it out. So the next day came and I got up and I wrote my gratitude journal again. Now, this is the third day in the row that I got hit with something. Now, what threw me off on this day was not unexpected. I knew that my ex-mother-in-law was going to try to go see my daughter at her school. You see, their mother has really isolated the children, and not their grandmothers or myself have seen the kids for a couple of years. Now, obviously, this causes me great pain. I don't know if any of you have children, but just imagine you loving those children as much as you do and then not being able to get to see them in their young years growing up. So needless to say, it's a rough situation. Now, the grandmother was going to go to her school and she asked if she wanted to take a letter for me because it was my daughter's 18th birthday and now she is an adult and can make the decision to see us or not. And I've written my daughter so many letters over the last couple of years, but I wanted to write a letter in real time. That way, in case the Holy Spirit wanted to tell me something, it would be fresh. So once the letter was all good, I got it to the grandma and she was gonna go take it to the school the next day. Well, my expectations started getting up. I started, oh, maybe she'll call me and maybe I'll be back in my kid's life by Friday and everything just started having those expectations. Well, I had to stop myself and bring those expectations down because I heard it said really good. My girl heard this from one of her patients' mother. And she said, expectations are just premeditated resentments. And so I really like that phrase and I really try to hold on to that. And so I applied that and I reeled back my expectations. And now I'm not expecting anything from the letter, but I will be so thrilled no matter what comes from it, even if she just knows that I love her. And another one of my practices that I had to work on when I was writing the letter was the identify, the recognize, and the reconcile from the Healing the Childhood Trauma. I'll leave the link below. And so as I'm making the letter, I'm definitely having to identify some of those pains and those hurts that I've caused her and that were caused to me, and recognize how those may have affected her, and then ask for reconciliation in the correct way. Now, this did take a process and I did go over the letter many times, so it expressed the truth that I was trying to convey. So then we get to yesterday. Yesterday was rough, guys, okay? I knew that the letter was on its way to see my daughter, so I'm trying to fight all of these expectations and just realize that God is gonna do what God is gonna do and to just sit back. But it was hard and it was rough and I couldn't really focus on a video. I tried and I put one out, link down below. And I think it turned out okay. And it's about reframing. And really, this is probably a good part too, because this week took a lot of reframing on my part. And so I got the call from grandma and she said she got the letter. Well, now my mind is going into overdrive. What is going on? What's happening? And so what I started doing was catastrophizing everything. And I was just thinking about the worst circumstances, and I went to yoga and I'm doing my poses and I'm just thinking, oh, what if this upsets her and what if that upsets her? And my mind just is going and going and I'm just praying the whole time through yoga. My mind is trying to think about the worst case scenarios, and really my mind was reframing it really well, but it was just reframing all of the bad scenarios. And so I was really praying, and I finally just had to use some mindfulness and completely put all of the thoughts out of my head, and I had to focus on the moment. And by the end of yoga, I had centered myself very well and had come to a place of acceptance. And I reframed things and got myself to a place of gratitude where I was just happy that the week was over. I used mindfulness to get to acceptance. I used reframing throughout the week. I used the identify, recognize, and reconcile process when I wrote the letter to my daughter. It was a really rough week for me, guys, but I used these practices and I pushed through, And I've had a really good Saturday. It hasn't been eventful or anything, but I continued my gratitude journaling, and I've had time to do meditation, and my mind has seemed to come to a place of clarity, and I'm getting this video done. I really hope you liked it, guys. Hey, subscribe real quick. You see that button? It says red. It's red. Subscribe. Click it. Click it. All right, I guess, and go ahead and smash them likes. Just smash them for me. Smash. Okay, I appreciate it, guys, and comment down below and let me know what I can do a video about. I am all about doing this for you guys. It's not for my ego. As a matter of fact, I try to keep my ego destroyed if I possibly can. However, my identity is in the ministry of God, delivering the word to you. Guys, it is so important for you to have a relationship with Christ. He's the one that saves your soul and brings redemption to your life. Okay, these practices are work that help our relationship with God, but all of it is null and void if you can't get to him and you can't have that peace and that joy that he provides. All good things come from the Father, and the closer that we can get to him, the more that we can receive those things. But if you don't know Christ, there's a wall between you and God called sin. And the blood of Christ is the only thing that can take that sin away. All right, guys, I appreciate you listening till the end of the video. I'll see you next time. Peace.